I do want to look at binging with Babish's French toast. That will blow you away. And I might clip this one in particular since it's a shorter video. So make sure that make sure you guys check out the original video before we continue on with this one. I want to see how well he makes his French toast, because I know that Stan Smith, the American dad, does not like French toast, but he really likes his American toast, which is just white bread put in a toaster, but at least it's American. Yeah, you can already tell that we don't play around when it comes to... No, Binging with Babish needs to do a collab with Lazy Pot Noodle, or whatever she's called. They need to do a collab. That would be absolutely legendary.
French toast, invented by the favorite cook of King Herod III in the 4th century AD. It was
King Herod of 4 AD. 4th century AD. Is French toast really that old? France didn't even exist back then, so why do we call it French toast?
created for a feast to celebrate the slaughter of Prussian Orthodox Christians.
Okay.
I just made all that up, but...
Okay, so he... Damn it! God damn it! Yeah, okay, no, you had me thrown for a loop, damn it.
It sounds right, doesn't it? In reality, French toast was kind of invented by the Romans in the 1st century, and...
Well, it's a Roman thing, but France didn't exist back then. It should... If it was the Romans that made it, and France back then was known as Gallia, or it was known as Gaul, named after the Gallic tribes the Gallic Celtic tribes that used to live there.
And perfected by the French in some other century.
In some other century.
Now, today, optimized by me.
Let's go. 2,000 years. This video was 2,000 years in the making, and we're all here for it.
History's a beautiful thing.
French toast with Babish. Let's go. That looks amazing.
This episode is sponsored by Wild Grain.
Wild Grain.
First ever bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough bread, fresh pastas, and pastries. Every Wild Grain bakes from frozen in 25 minutes or less. No thawing required.
You have to get ready for bed. Oh, you got work tomorrow. All right.
Or you can choose a gluten-free box of Veeks or their new protein box. Try Wild Grain for yourself.
But good night, Brett. Take care.
$30 off your first box, plus free croissants in every order.
All right.
Croissant is actually pronounced croissant.
Yes. Yes. Are you going to finish that croissant?
How should we be pronouncing French toast?
Well, the original pronunciation for French toast is
Francais. I don't know what toast is in French, so. From Van. Brett Vanish. Let's go. Van Francais.
So to start this French toast journey, we first need to make the toast, which before it becomes toast is actually something called bread.
It's something called bread. I'm sure you've heard of it. I mean, anyone who watches Ed and Nettie will know that Ed loves buttered toast, to which his auntie doesn't butter his toast.
So we're gonna make some bread, but not just any bread.
Are we gonna make the bread from scratch?
I'm gonna try to imitate the pain de mie from Bien Cuit, a local high-end bakery here in New York City.
Looks pretty fancy. Okay, so so it's already pre-made.
We're gonna start with a poolish. This is a basic pre-ferment that's gonna improve flavor and texture and appearance. 150 grams each, flour and milk with like a 1/4 teaspoon of instant yeast.
Okay, let's go.
Mix that together until all the flour is hydrated. Cover it and let it ferment at room temperature for 12 to 24 hours. The next day you're gonna find...
What happens if we let it ferment for 11.9 hours? Is it gonna go bad and we die?
Poolish has grown a little bit. It's gotten bubbly, stretchy, and it's got a lovely, tangy, yeasty, fermented smell.
What is this used for again?
Now, to get ready to make our bread, we're first going to measure each of our ingredients.
Oh, are we making the bread from scratch?
We've got 289 grams of whole milk, 525 grams of bread flour, 27 grams of granulated sugar, 13.5 grams of kosher salt, 3.4 grams of instant yeast, 1.7 grams of diastatic malt powder, totally optional, but it's going to improve our loaf's texture and flavor.
Okay.
And 40 grams of room temperature unsalted butter.
Does it have to be room temperature?
We're going to combine all of these ingredients except for the butter in the bowl of our stand mixer along with poolish. Mix until no dry patches remain. You got a kind of a shaggy dough going, and then add our butter one little piece at a time, waiting for it to be fully emulsified.
Okay, I see.
Into the dough before adding the next. After that, we're going to knead for an additional 5 to 7 minutes.
Ooh, that looks great.
Total time. We need really good gluten development, otherwise the loaf will come out short and crumbly, and it's also not going to have the strength that it needs to hold together in the custard soak of French toast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like I've seen my dad make French toast a few times. We buy some Texas toast, and then I do know this like involves egg, I think.
So once we have our dough where we want it, we're gonna roll it into a tight, taut little ball. Then we're gonna place it in an oiled
No,
bowl.
you could make a bread bowl out of that, but it needs to be sourdough.
We'll cover it with plastic wrap and fridging it for 16 hours. This is gonna be our initial cold ferment.
When you cold ferment, what is it that's actually happening to the yeast?
Excellent question. Anytime you take a dough and put it in the fridge, what you're doing is retarding the yeast's ability to consume sugar and produce carbon dioxide.
Okay, so it slows it down.
And this retardation creates some wonderful flavors and deep.
You can't say that unless you're an Asmongold orbiter. It's like, no, not to bring up Ed, Edd and Eddy. This is one of those. If anyone has ever seen the Big Picture show, there was the joke about the sextant.
You said the R word.
Well, yeah, but I said it in the context of baking, which is that's the actual term.
Oh my lord.
Is that
Yeah, you could say the same thing about the British word for a cigarette butt.
allowed?
It has to be. After 16 hours, we're taking out the dough and we're going to shape it into a log. Now, when the dough comes out of the fridge, it's round, and I want it to be a rectangle. The best way I could figure was to cut it in half, cut one of those halves into 2 pieces, and stack those 2 pieces on top of the other half to try to make a sort of pseudo-rectangle. Then I'm rolling that out to a much larger rectangle, the same width as my intended loaf pan, so 13 inches wide.
Yeah, I mean, at the job that I work, I don't really make the bread per se. The bread itself, like the dough itself is already like pre-made and pre-molded. I just have to put it in like different little molds and stuff and then put it in a proofer so that it rises. And then I put it in the oven.
Very carefully and very tightly rolling that into a log, making sure that I'm not trapping any air bubbles and thoroughly sealing the seam shut on the bottom.
Yeah, but I'm at work and I have to like when the bread is done proofing and it's ready to go in the oven, if there's like a lot of air bubbles, and the tomato basil is, in my experience, very notorious for having lots of bubbles. I don't know what it is that makes it different, but yeah, I always try to pop those bubbles.
Pinching, stretching, smearing. Then we're going to invert that, place that into a generously buttered Pullman pan, cover with plastic wrap and a lid, and ferment once again for another 12 hours.
Okay. The second proof helps give the crust a lightly bubbled texture look you often see on grape bread, what I call subcutaneous bubbles, or trademarked, or blisters.
So once that comes out of the fridge, we're going to let it rise.
Like, I know with bread bowls, it's okay to have like little bubbles on the surface. It gives it that aesthetic.
For anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. If it's very cold, it's going to take longer to rise. If it's warmer, it's going to take less time to rise.
Right.
Simple thermodynamics.
Yeah, especially if there's more moisture, it also helps out a lot.
Basically, we want the dough to reach 80 to 85% the height of the pan before putting it in the oven. Now,
yeah. Like where I work, when we let the bread rise in the proofer, we have to make sure that we can see it like above the mold that we put it in. Although I have been known to cut corners.
Oven, we've preheated it to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to give it an initial hot bake with the lid on for 10 minutes before reducing.
Yeah, the different breads that I make, they usually vary in temperature. Like we have the white miche that cooks at 360, and then we have the other breads like the sourdough and the miche and the tomato basil that cooks at 400.
To 400 degrees Fahrenheit, baking for another 25 minutes. Then we're taking off the lid and baking for another 10 to 15 minutes. Then we're going to
use convection on the this last stage to get an even more brown crust. But another thing is that we usually put the breads and stuff through a steam cycle, like for like 10 minutes, like 20 seconds of steam for 10 minutes, and then we cook it until it's basically like not necessarily golden brown, because it kind of depends on the bread itself.
Move it, put it on a
rack, but that looks pretty nice.
That cool completely, at least
that looks great.
4 hours before slicing and doing anything with it. But as you can see, for the most part, it's an exemplary sandwich loaf.
Yeah.
The deep, complex, almost caramelized.
No, you can see like when he was he wrapped it around, and you can see like like almost concentric circles.
It's flavor on the outside. The crust looks fantastic. Normally not a big crust guy, but with French toast, it adds a wonderful layer of crunch and depth of flavor.
You can also those look pretty good.
Bread when I
although there was a big hole, I saw a big bubble there.
It bounces back. It has
let's go.
Strength and resilience.
Yeah, because like typical white bread, processed white bread, like Schwabel's among others. Like, you squeeze it and it kind of stays squished, especially if you squeeze it hard.
It means that it's going to be able to soak up a lot of custard without losing its structure and turning into mush.
the
Haters might say
toppings.
American breakfast is too sweet. So why?
I mean, not, well, cereal, like commercial cereals that you see like kids commercials for. Yeah, those are mostly sugar. But when it comes to like actually making something, it kind of depends on what you want to do.
Why doesn't this French breakfast get the same criticism?
Haters, by their own nature, are going to hate.
No shit.
If the hater you're referring to is Johnny Harris, then I have to agree with whatever he says by default. 'Cause damn,
I don't know who that is,
Damn, he's good.
but apparently he's good.
Now, before we French any of this toast, we need to make our toppings. First up, I'm going to make a blueberry compote using
That sounds nice. Preserved lemons.
some preserved
Some from Morocco.
And preserved lemons have this really wonderful, almost savory, unctuous flavor to them. A
Do they? I've never heard of a preserved lemon, though.
slight bitterness. So we're not going to do too much. I'm just going to take about a quarter of this preserved lemon, finely chop it, and add it to taste. And I don't want the
Okay.
compote to be too sweet. We have a lot of sweetness going into this, and I want it to taste more of berries than of sugar.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm doing 2 cups of blueberries to 1 cup of sugar.
Yeah, that's how I am with, like, other foods as well. I don't want too much of one thing over another. I like there to be a balance.
I'm also going to add our preserved lemon and a hefty pinch of salt. Bring that up to a simmer for 5 to 10 minutes. Let all that fruit break down. Let all the flavors get to know each other. Give it a taste.
That looks
for
great.
seasoning.
And he said it's blueberry?
Acid. So I added some fresh lemon juice to bring some zing.
Let's
and
go.
It wouldn't hurt you if you threw a little splash of vanilla in there. Vanilla extract, vanilla paste. Either way, it's going to add a little bit more depth and complexity of flavor.
Oh, that looks pretty good.
For our French toast. Now onto the syrup, and we're not just doing any plain Jane whatever out of a bottle syrup.
All right, good night, Jackal.
We don't roll like that.
No, we'll make our own syrup straight from the maple tree.
Do we, Babish Nation? Instead of making a pancake syrup that's inspired by Sam Yu of Golden Diner, a mixture of 1 cup real maple syrup. and
Okay,
that
so
fixed
we just have the syrup already.
stuff. 1 tablespoon of red miso.
Red
a little
miso.
splash of mirin. I'm going to bring this up to a bare simmer just to get everything dissolved and mixed together. I'm also going to add a little splash of some of this spiced rum. You can just use Captain Morgan's. but I happen
Spiced
to have
rum. Where is the rum gone, as Captain Jack Sparrow would say? I almost said Japton.
a little tub of this homemade stuff. Then I'm finishing things up with 2 tablespoons of butter. This makes for a pancake syrup whose sweetness, richness, and deliciousness cannot be properly described by me with my mouth and brain here today.
That's good. Soak and stale.
For those that are curious, what is English toast?
What is English toast? You put beans on it.
English toast is plain old dry ass bread
But you put beans on it.
with a side of nothing.
On the side of it tastes like nothing,
And butter kept neatly in the fridge.
pretty much. Oh, the twitch in his mouth over here.
On to something just as important as the toast itself, the French, or the custard. The stuff that you soak the bread in.
I mean, what did you think that French fries are made of? Darwin Watterson from The Amazing World of Gumball thought that French fries were made from French people. And he probably thinks that French toast is made from French people as well.
I'm starting with 6 large egg yolks. We're only going with egg yolks here. That's going to bring lots of
Just
fat,
yolks.
richness, and an improved texture. Then I'm adding 1.5 cups each milk and heavy cream, or just 3 cups of half and half, because that's the same.
Yeah.
I'm also adding the zest of 1 orange.
Yeah, we use half and half on the scones that we make.
This is going to bring a lovely orange zest.
Orange. Zest.
2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm also going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Something else that the blender is going to be great for is incorporating spices. If you just whisk ground
What kind of spices are we using?
spices into a custard, they just kind of end up floating on the top. But if you blend them in, they incorporate much better.
Okay.
And for spices, I'm doing a half teaspoon each nutmeg, cardamom, and cinnamon.
Ooh, of
Blend
course.
until completely smooth, and there it is, our French toast custard.
Here we
before
go.
Turn this toast into French toast. We first
Belgian waffles are people? Oh no.
scale it. You can either do this in a low oven, like 200 degrees for.
I guess
1
Belgian waffles are made of Belgian people. But what type of Belgian people? Flemings, or Walloons?
hour until they're nice
The Dutch and French parts, respectively.
and dry on the outside, but still a little soft on the inside, or just let it sit out and stale overnight. If you start with fully hydrated bread, you're going to end up with pretty mushy French toast because it's going to soak up all this custard and already has all this moisture in it. Now, with the custard, you could, of course, pour it out into a bowl and dip the toast one at a time. But a much more efficient way to do things is to place all the toast in a rimmed baking sheet, a nice high-walled rimmed baking sheet, and pouring the custard over top, making sure that you hit the top of each piece of toast with the custard, and
Okay.
then letting it soak, flipping halfway through.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Now, how long
I don't remember how my dad does it. He just does, like, basic stuff.
do you soak? This is going to depend on a number of factors, the biggest 2 being the dryness of your bread and your personal preferences. I want just a smidgen of actual bread in the center of my toast.
Yeah, I would like to be able to... Yes, I'd like the flavor of the He said it's custard, but I also want to make sure that I can actually taste the bread, per se.
And the rest of it thoroughly filled with that custard and that richness and that French toast flavor.
Yeah.
My toast was really dried out, and I let it soak for about 45 minutes.
Yeah, I've never known about letting the bread go stale before doing it, but I guess it makes sense. I mean, he argued that you don't want the bread to be too mushy, which... fair enough.
Once your French toast is soaked to your liking, you can do the classic thing. Fry it.
Yeah, there we
butter, and
go.
serve it with
Oh.
Tale as old as time.
And then...
that's what French toast is.
that looks pretty good. Oh, man, I would eat the hell out of that.
Wow.
Yo.
Wow.
Damn, no.
So here's why I love this versus normal French toast. The French toast itself was not sweetened very much, nor was the fruit spread. Really, you're getting most of the sweetness from that little bit of sugar we sprinkled on there, but most of it's coming from the syrup. I
Yes.
crushed this whole plate. It's remarkable.
But let me guess, this video is not done yet, so he's probably going to go above and beyond, and
It's a
we're
very
all here
balanced,
for
very
it.
decadent, gorgeously flavored French toast.
It looks amazing.
All that to be said, I want to try something different.
Brûlé français pain.
I want to make brulee French toast because what we have here is a fried sugary exterior.
Yeah, brulee. I don't even know what brulee means. We recently started selling these little creme brulee bites that I've had a few of them. They're pretty good, but I don't really know what brulee entails.
So I want to bring the glassy crispness that comes with brulee.
Oh,
Put
is
it
that
in
what it
French
is?
toast format.
What do you say to those calling creme brulee French toast too French?
It's too French.
Well, to them, I would say, is there such a thing as too French?
Je ne sais pas.
And they would say yes, and I would say what?
It's called going to France itself.
Where is the line? And they would say, you're being pedantic right now. I'd say, you're being an asshole right now. And they'd
Being pedantic sounds like the Metatron.
say, well, I'd say, well, you. Then we'd come to blows. As so often happens, fisticuffs would turn to a passionate kiss. That
No.
would be immediately withdrawn because we're both married.
Would it be a French kiss?
I was about to use the what's it called? Yeah, I was about to use the Among Us thingy, but I was like,
I'm borrowing a technique I've seen Nick DiGiovanni and the New York Times do. Basically, we're making a mixture of half cup of butter to 1 cup of dark brown sugar.
ooh.
Melting that in a saucepan, stirring until homogenized, and then spreading it on the bottom of a non-stick rimmed baking sheet.
Oh, are we gonna put the custard on it?
Then I'm digging out my syrup,
Oh.
toasts, and then just shingling them on top of the sugar mixture in the rimmed baking sheet.
Okay, so that's
Then
what
this
it
whole guy's
is.
going into a preheated 375-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 25 minutes. Then I'm gonna take them out, flip them onto a non-stick rack, brulee side up. Then you can either keep it on the rack and throw it under the broiler to get it nice and crisp, or put it back into our original non-stick rimmed baking sheet and just bake it
Okay.
for another 10 to 15 minutes to really crisp up the sugar on top and give us a brulee-like French toast.
Okay, I see. That looks
There
amazing.
you have it. We have our rich, creamy French toast with a crunchy
Let's
sugar
go.
topping, ready to be plated and enjoyed. And just listen to how crispy this is.
Oh my god, no, you can hear it. I hear it in the headphones and it hurts. Oh my god, no, that freaking high-pitched scratching sound. No, that's how you know it's good.
I'm going to top that up with our preserved lemon blueberry compote.
Let's
a big
go.
scoop of our creme fraiche chantilly. It's just not French toast without a generous sprinkling of powdered sugar. And of course, our bespoke red miso.
Let's go.
And all there's left to do is try it.
Let's
For
go.
more, we're headed to the studio where Babish is about to take his first bite.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah, he said we're going to the studio and he's already here.
there's still a really good crunch to it. Okay.
Yo.
Oh, man.
Oh my god. When something like this gets caught up in your beard, and it's like, god damn it.
Sweetness is coming specifically from
And now you have to wash it off because you don't want sticky stuff in your beard.
the brulee and the syrup. The French toast itself, the berries, these are sources of richness and acid and spice. Not only does that diversify the flavors and let different flavors and sweetnesses and textures hit your mouth at different times, but also it just balances out the sweet. So this is not so sickly sweet as French toast usually is. Even with the brulee, that's unbelievable. I love the acid hit from those really lemony blueberries.
Oh my god, I wish I could try that. I mean, I can't really eat too much sugary stuff, but I'd imagine that there's not that much in it.
Not only the top's nice and crunchy, the crust of that bread is really something special. Because of the slow fermentation, it forms almost a flaky, layered exterior, and that gets translated all the way through to the end product. The crusts of this bread, for once, are maybe the best part. They're coated in crystalline sugar, and they have an almost, halfway between a brioche or a croissant kind of flakiness. And
That sounds amazing, though. I know I've said that, like, how many times did I say that? I'm just trying to be transformative.
So much flavor.
So
I really
much.
hope you guys give this one a try for yourselves. It's very labor intensive.
No, if only one day if I'm fortunate enough to be able to just do this whenever, then I definitely make my own meals.
But worth it. And if not, I hope that you picked up a tip or trick that you might put to use in your next batch of French toast.
Let's go.
Thank you so much for watching. Please comment below what you want to see me make next on this show.
Okay. That was fun. Not too much to talk about. I don't understand why this is flashing rapidly. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And this video was streamed live on both YouTube and Kick. Be sure to check out the VODs for unedited footage as well. Take care.